Yes, good afternoon. I am putting on this mask because I'll pull it off later on. I want to explain the significance of what I'm putting on at this moment to the present situation that we find ourselves. You can read, this is in Spanish. You see what is written inside here. And you look at the interior, it is in black. The wordings you see here, which are written in this particular language, means in English that the inside is what counts. The inside is what counts. What I carry here and what I am wearing here comes from Colombia. This is a mask made by the women who were involved in the Colombian Civil War that was fought for 50 years. And even as I speak to you now, this war is technically not over because the peace process is still ongoing. I repeat, 50 years of war. The women of the Colombian War, technically the former FARC rebels, made this mask, what I am wearing. I have a couple here with me. Is to show you the dimension and the degree of what we have done, the contacts that we have initiated in order to find a way to end this avoidable bloodshed that has come to our homeland and to our peoples. I did not plan coming out today, but I came out today because I have a very short and solemn message to pass. I do not want to act like every other person who is out there and who have been sending in their messages of sympathy, condolences to the people of Kumba. No, I've not come here to do that. I've not come to join the chorus of people carrying out crocodile tears and crocodile wailing. People who are, I know a vast degree of the people mean it in their heart when they said we are deeply sorry. But I want to be frank to you. Those words do not count at this moment. They do not count. The words of, I am deeply sorry, please accept our condolences to the bereaved family and the people of Kumba, do not count. You might say, what is Dr. Kwanga saying? What the heck does he mean? This is exactly what I mean. If we all, the government of La République du Cameroon, and those of us who belong to the non-state actor groups, have considered the sanctity of human life, we would have found a way sooner than later to sit on the negotiating table, which would have avoided what happened in Kumba yesterday. So all these crocodile tears, it is as if we did not see this coming. No, we are lying. From the moment when Mama Api was incinerated, in fact, when you watch the pictures, This is an octogenarian. Our moms moving with sticks. We know what happens in our homeland. The moment she was roasted alive, and we saw her remains, and the only thing that mankind can do was to share her pictures and pretend as if we were engaged in the whole process. That was the moment our humanity died as a people. That was the moment our humanity died. So all these folks, whether they belong to La République du Cameroon or those of us who are Ambazonians, who have taken different positions, acting as if peace will come from the skies. Jesus is going to land here, or it's going to be Prophet Muhammad, or it is going to be Angel Gabriel, who will come from somewhere, or Michael. And then it will be possible for both sides to sit on the table and begin finding a way to end this avoidable war. I use the word avoidable because if the state of La République du Cameroon have listened to the call of our people from the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s, this war will not be taking place today. So nobody should try to exempt themselves as if Kumba occurred in a vacuum. No, it did not. It did not occur in a vacuum. I don't know the parents of those innocent children who were slaughtered. But I know that thousands of other innocent children have been slaughtered in that land. Even the outcry of what happened at Ngambu, Bali, Boyatown, all of those things, they pass away like wind, like tornado. That comes, create havoc, we rebuild and take it all over again. So why all this wailing? Why all this wailing? This is what we had won. When we call that it is important that there should be no schools, it is not because we don't want children to go to school. It is because we were afraid that something of this nature is going to happen. And when it happens, both sides will be pointing fingers at one another. The non-state actor groups, rightfully, cannot take responsibility for something they know they did not do. The state actors will say they too did not do it. So who did it? Who is responsible? Those who are responsible came from the skies? Or they came directly from the pit of hell sent by Lucifer? Who are we blaming at this moment? It has become a blame game. That is what is out there. Crocodile tears all over. People who have not called my phone for months, they are calling me now to ask me what is going on. How do you want me to explain it? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? You find greedy people on the left, greedy people on the right. You find people who are benefiting from this war effort. They are doing whatever it takes to make sure peace does not come to our two peoples. The people of Ambazonia and the people of La République du Cameroon. As the leader of the APLM, I have stretched my hands, even to the detriment of my own image and personality. I have talked to people of La République du Cameroon that nobody will ever have believed I would talk to them. Even those who send people to kill me in Nigeria. For the 5 times I missed assassination attempts in Nigeria. When I was protected by the Secret Service in Nigeria, sent by President Olusegun Obasanjo, I have sat with these same people to find a way on how both sides can sit on the table, and then we can each play our cards on the way forward. Everybody is playing the role of King Kong. King Kong. Some people within La République have taken a vow that they are going to crush the Ambazonians. And they know this is not going to be possible. They have turned their weapons against their own brothers of La République du Cameroon with goodwill. Members of the regime, they have turned their weapons against them, accusing them for being Ambazonians simply because they are talking to Ambazonians, trying to find a pacific solution on a negotiating table. You come to us Ambazonians, what are we doing? There are some among us that we are pushing them ahead. They are spending their time. They are spending their time turning against one brother after another. They are not bringing a solution. They have spent more than 80% of their time fighting an initiative which is about to become a process. The Swiss process, as people call it. They are fighting it. Some said we will fight it because it is Akwanga cheese. Some say we will fight it because it is Boo Herbert, Cometa, Elvis, Sako, and others chocolate. They do not think about the consequences of what is happening to our people and to the people of La République du Cameroon. Every single individual who have died in this war would have been alive today had Mr. Biya taken over the mantle of a leader than doing what he does best, acting as a ruler. Rulership is different from leadership. A ruler is different. We have them all over the continent of Africa. And we sit somewhere and we say, oh, the African leaders. We do not have leaders. Sankara is dead. He was a leader. Rawlings is no more in power. He was a leader. Nyerere was a leader. Muammar Gaddafi was a leader. We do not have leaders in Africa. Patrice Lumumba was a leader. That is why we find ourselves where we are today. There is no way you can look at an immediate cause without finding out the root cause of why these things are happening. How many kids have lost their lives? We do not know what they would have become tomorrow. And today, what do? For more than 48 hours, people are pointing fingers. It is you who is responsible. No, it is you who is responsible. Okay, there is a Camara, what is Camry E that came from somewhere and then came over to that school. That they even went and chased children that they should not go to school on Saturdays. They should go only on Monday. That is the regime, the bees. Oh, they should go only on Monday so that Ghost Town should be broken. I don't know from which handbook anyone thinking in this myopic way is reasoning. You do not need to pull the trigger. You do not need to buy bullets and put in a gun. Your inability to wholeheartedly work for a pacific solution is responsible for the killing, the slaying of those children yesterday. I don't care whether they were supposed to be in school or not. You are responsible. You cannot run away from it. You cannot. Those who have the possibility to work to protect situations like this, and those who are doing everything to make sure that situations like this continue to happen, you are responsible. Another thing that is responsible is greed. Greed. We know what greed is. We know how it has eaten the very fibers of our society. Some people will say, what is Dr. Kwanga saying? His children are going to school. No! If I send my child to study back there in Ambazonia, and then there was this war, then I brought my child back to the United States, then you can accuse me that I've taken my own child to safety. I cannot deliver my child in the United States. You say she should not go to school. We are not trying to fix the educational system in America. We are trying to fix the system of tyranny and annexation in our homeland. A child can lose her education, his education for 10 years. They can still catch up. But when a child loses his or her life, they will never come back. This is simple common sense. When you are dead, you are dead. No amount of shouting, wailing, posthumous medals or what that they give to you will bring you back. You are dead. A dead man is dead. I know in Bayangi land, we know dead people don't die. They come back as ngugunem, devils. So some of them come and ask for food. We put food on graves and the rest. Yes, but that is just the mindset of people. A dead man is a dead man. You are gone. Period. I'm saying this because they are going to accuse tomorrow that you people say children. Now, Sako is responsible for the killing of those children because he said there will be no school. How can you accuse Sako? When they declared that there should be no school, when was that lifted? I don't know which person or in which forum where the idea of not going to school was lifted. I have talked to the United Nations. I've talked to UNESCO. I have reached out to UNESCO, who have come to me and trying to implement a program which will be like an online program. But we are still debating on the curriculum. I have it here on my phone and my computer that they sent to me. Because I care so much about the education of these children. I sacrifice my own education so that people like Tapang Ivor, Mark Barata and the others can have a means to go to school. Everybody knows that. It is in the annals of the history of the University of Boya and the educational system in La République du Cameroon. I gave up my own education. I sacrificed it. To prove to you how important education is to me as an individual. And no matter our differences, I have not seen a single Ambazonian leader or anyone who passes for a leader who truly do not want children to go to school. And there are good people in La République du Cameroon who equally want children to go to school. But that silent minority, that a vocal minority, that is so greedy, that are benefiting from this war, they will do whatever it takes to make sure there is no possibility of both sides sitting on the table and ending this mayhem. We love these children so much. Do we truly love them? Do we truly love these children who lost their lives yesterday? Then why can't we sit on the table and let the issue of going back to school be one of the major issues to discuss on the table? Why can't we agree to go and sit on the table as two peoples talking to one another and agree on a temporal or permanent ceasefire as the Libyans just did after 9 years of fighting in Geneva 2 days ago? I left West Africa, I flew to Europe. I went to 3 countries in Europe. 3. In the midst of this pandemic, I was not afraid that COVID-19 will hit me somewhere. Because there is no amount of death that will be different than sacrificing one's life for a struggle that you know is important. And the message is all the same everywhere. I am so angry. Not for the killing of these children who were supposed to stay alive. I am angry with every individual, directly or indirectly, who is responsible for this carnage. Who are now pretending as if they love these kids so much, or they want peace. No! There are people out there writing long statements. We're asking the UN Security Council, who is reading it? Who? We're asking the UN Security Council to come and do something to intervene. They started fighting in Nigeria. How many did the military kill in Nigeria? Simple demonstration. We find top leaders in the United States. They use their Twitter account to condemn what is happening there. How many have condemned the slaughtering in our land for almost 4 years? How many? We not get sense. We not feel learn lesson. Même vous les Camerounais, vous êtes devenus les fous. Vous tous. Where is your humanity? Where is your conscience? All of you. Where's your conscience? A top military officer of La République du Cameroon was writing to me yesterday and telling me that they said I am part of those who killed those children. They called my name. They wrote that Paul Nilong. I don't even know him. And frankly, God knows. I've never spoken to him. If he appears here, I will not know him because I am not a Facebook man. I just come, I do what I'm doing, I go my way. They talk of Fombat Jordan. Yes, I know Fombat because I've met him in the UK. But I don't even know the last time I exchanged with him. Why? Because they are Ambazonians who are making monies out of this war. So anytime something happens, they rush to their paymasters, and they fabricate stories. They give them money again. And because the paymasters, the intelligence service of the military is so stupid. In fact, they are so lazy. They are working on the basis of not just assumptions, but falsehood. That is why they always miss the ball. They always miss the ball. I am telling you people, and I want to say this. What happened in Kumba yesterday is nothing to what is coming. If we as a people do not sit up, I am swearing before God and man. I swear before my mother and my father's graves that I have not seen. I swear on the graves of my parents. My 10 family members who have died, I don't know where they have been buried. I swear on my late senior brother who has not yet been buried, Paul Monikamboa, that what is coming, you guys will not, in fact, I don't know whether you will be able to say, I am sorry. Because of the intransigence, the greediness, the wickedness, we have become so numb to the death of a fellow man. So numb. We share pictures, we share videos, we pretend, we do all types of things. We have become so numb. In fact, death is a normal sequence in life. And at times we don't know what is going to happen. But I don't think if we believe that there is a God, God will create a child and make sure that child doesn't reach old age and die. I do not believe in that. I do not. Everybody is supposed to reach ripe age in life. But there are other things in the world that occurs. So my anger is directed to each one of you who has implicitly or directly been involved in all of these killings. Would you stop all these crocodile tears, pretending, writing communiques? Some say, doctor, please send out a press release. Is that press release going to bring back those children? Will it bring back Mamiya feed those who were slaughtered and Gambo and the rest? Who is talking about Gambo again? Who is talking about Gambo? Who is talking about Bali? Who is Kumba will also go like Gambo, like Bali, like Boyatown and the rest. Unfortunately, that is what is going to happen. It will go like that. I am saying this and I'm saying it from the bottom of my mind. What is coming? I don't know. For 5 days I've not been able to sleep. And when I do not sleep, God talks to me. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a saint. I'm not an apostle. I am nothing. But I'm just a servant of nature and of the Most High God. He talks to me. I saw all of this coming. And I'm telling you people what is coming. You will not believe it. If we do not change our ways, those of you within the government of La République du Cameroon, those of you who are confused, you are pretending that you are working for peace, and you are fighting against your own brothers and sisters in the same regime that you are, that truly wants to focus on working for peace. You are thinking that they want to remove Gary from your mouth. Because your goal is to pretend you want peace and people's children are being slaughtered. And those of you who are Ambazonians or Cameroonians of any extract who are responsible for causing confusion, you create one group here, you create another here. There are all types of groups for peace. From the moment the Swiss said, listen, Yaoundé has given us a go-ahead to work for peace. And those of us from Boya say, yes, we will welcome that if we can sit on the table and do it. You people started creating little groups behind the scene. And you want to use those groups that you want to negotiate for peace. And you are using the wrong mantle. The wrong mantra, I beg your pardon. You're not going to achieve anything. It is just like people who create NGOs to deceive people in the West to collect monies. And when they get enough money, they go seek for a visa. They escape and go back to the West. They never go back. That is why they create NGOs. Not to help the local community, to help themselves and their families. That is how some of you people have become. You might not see the part you are playing. You are causing more confusion. There is an initiative that is ongoing that is not dead. You have not put in your hands to work towards it. You create your own initiative sideways so that you can create more confusion. And then others break from you and create their own initiative. That is what is happening in this case. Children are dead. Children are dead. I am Kumba. I am Kumba. I will not bring them back. It will not. I kept I am Kwakwa as my Facebook profile for close to 6 to 9 months. It did not bring Mami Happy back. It did not change anything in Kwakwa. In fact, it did not even move anybody. Because you are not Fallujah. You are not Riyadh. Okay? You are not Fallujah. You are not Riyadh. These are the places people think about. You are not even Tripoli. Just imagine the embedment of the war in Tripoli, in Libya. There are foreign fighters in Libya. We do not really have foreign fighters on our side. Though we know that the other side has got foreign fighters. Whether from Chad or from which other country. We do not have foreign fighters. But they can meet in Geneva. This is a war where missiles have been used and all types of weapons. They meet in Geneva, in Switzerland. And they agree on a permanent ceasefire as a prelude to a negotiated settlement. And what happens in our own case? What happens? Do we know how many children in Ambazonia have died since these children were slaughtered yesterday? Between that hour those children died and today, at this moment I'm talking. Do we know how many kids have died? Do we know how many people have died who would not have died? Who would have been saved if we were living in a truly permanent positive peace? Do you know? You belong to an NGO. Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, how hard have you worked for peace? As I'm talking, if you are listening to me, look yourself in the mirror as I'm talking. You are a member of the government of La République. My good brother, Joseph Diongute. I don't know which church you go to. Me, I'm a Presbyterian. I want you to kneel and look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, how hard have I worked to make sure that my side and the other side can come to the table? The answer will surely be, I haven't done much. And I can understand. You might want peace, but people are surrounding you don't want peace. So now, you become a little bit selfish. You are afraid that if you work too hard, they might take off your head. Or maybe if you are not selfish, you might become a little bit greedy. You think of how much money you are making in the course of the war effort. I am just alone. A sinful man. I've been asking God that, Lord, is there a way you can destroy this world? Because I think humanity have lost its way. Just destroy it. And I don't know whether you are going to fill it with what next. Because when I see the callous hypocrisy, the callous disregard of human life, nobody would have ever told me that a war of liberation will turn to a war of annihilation. So please, stop sending condolence messages to Kumba. Stop carrying I am Kumba. Stop that. Stop all of this hypocrisy. You are not Kumba. There is no condolence messages. Even the parents of these children, they should look themselves in the mirror very well. Let me tell them what nobody will tell them. And ask themselves what role they might have played. They will tell you, no, we just want our children to go to school. My people, war is never a good thing. It is so easy to start a war, but very difficult to end it. Why can't all of us say, let us suffer for one last time so that all of us can benefit? Why? What is all of this? What is all of this? Yaoundé sends signals they want to talk. The next second, others are pulling them away. It goes left, right, nothing in the middle. Everybody is King Kong. If you don't do this, I will not sit with you. You don't do this, I will not talk. You don't do this, I will not talk. People are dying every day. It is like people who refuse that there is no COVID and the COVID affects them. And then they take the taxpayers' money to save their lives. And then others who pay those taxes, there is no, what is regenong, they call it, or what, to be used on them because they don't have $100,000 to pay for it. That is what we are facing today. Hypocrites as church leaders. Church leaders. Hypocrites all over. Hypocrites all over. I don't even know who they are praying to. Today is Sunday. How many of them have gone to church to pray? How many? No. Ethel, you don't mourn the death. You prove to the dead that you are really sorry that they lost their lives. It is, people are being pretentious. We do not mourn the dead. You discover at times that people who come to places where people are dead and they cry the loudest are the ones who go behind and they're laughing. That is not how we mourn the dead. If you want to prove that every individual who have died in our homeland counts, you must work as hard as possible for peace on both sides. That is when you pay the highest respect for those who have lost their lives. That is where you do it. You don't mourn the dead by going out, they kill people. It is the same thing we've seen in the United States. Look at Sandy Hook. You know how many children were killed in the classroom because of the Second Amendment? The senators, the Congress people could do nothing. Even when they shot one of their own in Arizona, they could do nothing. One of their own, Congresswoman, Gabby Gifford, they did nothing. That is the level of our hypocrisy. We mourn the dead. We are not mourning the dead. We are not. You must pay homage to the dead by doing what you thought you would have done to save other lives. That is what we do. So people should give me a break and tell me they're mourning the dead. You're mourning who? What did you do to make sure that they were not supposed to die yesterday? How hard did you work for it? How hard? When I go out, I try to talk to people. I talk to even people that I don't even have the right to talk. In fact, I have the right, but morally, for what they have done to me as an individual, I should have no discussion with them. But I've kept everything aside. I said, humanity is bigger than me. My own life is not too important than the life of each one of you out there. And what goes on? It is my own people, because they cannot understand the approach. They say Dr. Kwanga has sold the struggle. And then you go back to La Republique people. Simply because some of them come to me, I talk to them, they begin to think that just by talking to them means that I am no longer interested in independence. And when they discover that, no, I've not changed my ways, though I'm talking to them, they become angry and they start setting traps against me, plotting against me. It is because they have no knowledge of what they are involved in. I don't know what they teach them in Iraq. I don't know who their lecturers are. They don't know what peace and conflict resolution is. They have no clue about it. The 1+1 of peace and conflict studies, nothing at all. It is enemies who talk. It's enemies who make peace. If you're not willing to talk, how are you going to make peace? And like as I said, it took 50 years, 50 good years, for the Colombians and the FARC rebels to sit and agree on a peace process which is still ongoing. This is what I wore. It's from Colombia. From the women of the Colombian Civil War. Former rebels. This is where it is coming from. I didn't buy it from a shop here. How much peace are you people working for? How much? How much? By the time I finish here, you people will go back to your vomit. Where you vomit, you take it back, you vomit again. You will start calling names. Oh, it is this who did this. Is this who have chopped this money? Is this who have done this? People's children are dying. The homeland is gradually dying. And La Republique is celebrating because we are not fighting in their land. And it is not because we want a regime change. If it was regime change, we would have been fighting in Yaoundé and Douala. We are fighting for our homeland. That is why we are in our own homeland. But some of us seems as if we have resigned. that we don't care whether there's no homeland tomorrow. Let's just fight. There's no purpose, no strategy. I won, I repeat, in my meetings with the UN, in my private meetings, in my public meetings, I won. There should be no school, not because I do not want school. It was because I was afraid that something like this will happen. And when it will happen, it will be the time to start pointing fingers. And pointing fingers will be too late. It will be too late. That is what it is. If we can wear our shoes and sit up now and truly work for a negotiated settlement, then we will truly be paying homage to these innocent kids who dream for education, but who became a pawn in a civil war, as some people call it, or a genocidal war, as we see it. A war that would have been avoided had it not been because the others think they are masters, and those that have risen up to say enough is enough are slaves. See where we find ourselves. Our humanity is technically dead, or it is dying. We feel no pain any longer. We feel no pain. Our coward disregard of human life. Who will be surprised when a church will be invaded? Pastors have died, true or false? We know the Ghanaian family that was killed. We know others that have died. Which family is not touching this war? I want to make sure that you truly want to stop what happened in Kumba by working as hard as possible to bring both sides on the negotiating table. Working for peace doesn't mean you are giving away your aspirations. No, not at all. That is a wrong knowledge or a wrong notion. Maybe I find myself in this difficult position because I am a liberationist and I am an expert in peace and conflict studies. So I see it from a different lens that many of you do not see it. But I have done my best to speak to you people, to try to bring you people to understand where we are. We cannot all be the same. There will be people among us who are leaders, who have taken extreme positions, and you might not know the importance of those positions they have taken, because they are sending a signal to the other side that you must deal with all of us. You cannot deal with one and leave the other. So I applaud that position they have taken. But when you have extremism without a thought process, without looking at the bigger picture, then your extremism pales in the eyes of death. It serves no purpose but you and you alone. So in a nutshell, this is what I want each one of you to know. Yaoundé, if you do not change your posture, if you think that having other Ambazonians as militias who invade our homeland and carry out atrocious activities, that you can pin it on the liberation fighters, you are not only making a moral miscalculation, you are condemning young men and women to a perpetuity of hatred, anger, and vengefulness. Yaoundé, you are the state party. We are non-state actors. The onus is upon you to walk to the negotiating table. This is not an issue of pride. It is not an issue of how much weapons you have. It is something that deals with the basic tenets of humanity. How you see the other one. If you truly respect the humanity of our people, and if you truly think that each one put here in this, on this earth, have a reason to be here and have a purpose for life, then those of you who want peace among the Yaoundé regime must rise up and become as vocal as the minority that wants to perpetuate this war to infinity. Otherwise, you are just like them, but in a different shade. And I can swear to you that if you do that you walk to the negotiating table, you will have listening ears from Ambazonians. We will sit with you, and within a twinkle of an eye, we will resolve this issue through a comprehensive negotiated settlement. There will be no winner. There will only be losers. Because the losers will be those people whose life have been cut short because of this unavoidable war. This is a necessary war. It's different from being a war that was supposed to be avoided. Because it is unavoidable. It is a war that, I beg your pardon, is a war that was supposed to be avoided. It makes it a necessary war. This is my message to you, Yaoundé. And to you, Boya. Those of you who are Ambazonian leaders like my small self sitting here. If you do not understand anything that deals with peace and conflict studies, or how conflicts are resolved, don't be ashamed. Reach out to those who have an understanding of it within your own milieu. We are all learning every day. Stop bringing confusion. Stop adding to the horrors in our homeland. Because when you do not understand the process, you see every other Ambazonian who understands the process as a traitor. You build up stories, you fabricate all types of things. In fact, you are partly doing the propaganda job of La République du Cameroon. You are making it so difficult for both sides to come to the table. It is difficult. If you and me do not do this now for our people, we would have failed them. Period. We should keep aside SOCADEF, ADF, IG, 7 Kata, or whatever we call it. This is not an idea of marching on 1st October. It is an idea of achieving what we want for our people. If we as the leaders do not understand this process and know the role we have to play, that I cannot say it here, then we have failed our people. You might not see it now. You might think I'm joking. Down the years, I pray you have old age so that you should sit and reflect on the role you played. We do not create human life. None of us have the right to take anyone's life. Nobody. Except in times of war. Because when the enemy comes to you, if you don't shoot, they will shoot you. That one is obligated. You are having the full right to defend yourself. You have the full right. That is why, because we are fighting, when La République citizens, military B comes to our land and starts shooting, it looks different. That is the way it is. So we have to be careful. And to conclude, let me make this clear. Any one of you who thinks that we were so happy to get into this situation, you are making a big mistake. You will not frighten any of us with imprisonment, because there is no prison that is bigger than the one we are suffering now. There is nothing as big and as terrible as the idea that you cannot even bury your loved ones. You are far away because of particular circumstances. So nobody is going to come online or offline and frighten any one of us. We will stand for what we know is right. That is the way it is. That is what is important. We should put that in mind. So if you want to pay high respect for all those who have lost their lives, you should continue to defend the homeland. But make sure you equally work as hard as never before to understand what it means sitting across the table with the other side, to reflect on how we will be able to present our case, and to make sure that at the end of the day, a permanent positive peace will come. That is my message. That is the message I have for you. I will go offline. I will not come to Facebook. I don't read your comments because I give only the message I am interested in giving. The message that has come to me that I must pass to you. No more crocodile tears. No more unnecessary wailing. When by the time you finish all of this, you will either be working for the other side or you'll be online insulting your own brothers and sisters. Pay the highest respect for these innocent children. And make sure that at the end of the day, anyone responsible for crimes against humanity will somehow face justice. We will have our own Truth and Reconciliation Committee. We might have our own gachacha, like in Rwanda. But let us stop pretending of how much we love the children in Kumba and all the others whose life has been cut short, when the very things we do is not to defend our homeland, is to make sure that this war goes on and on and on and on. No. If Akwanga, Sako, Ayok, Kometa, Bo, Njo, Ayaba, Yerima, if each one of you is out there as a leader, at this moment, if we decide to pass the ball to the new generation, we would have failed them. We don't know the type of peace they will achieve. We don't know. The Colombians, in fact, tried several times, it failed. 50 years afterwards, they sued for peace, but at a greater cost. I do not call those names here lightly. Especially those of you who call yourselves surrogates, who are responsible for the carnage that has affected this struggle, who have decided to become the mouth, the voice, the knowledge, the heart of some of these leaders. You should think well of the role you are playing. Think very well. Don't cry for Kumba. Don't cry for Gabu. Don't cry for Bali. Don't cry for Boyatown. Don't even cry for Ambazonia. Cry for the failure, for your inability to act better than the other self. This is going to be a very long 3 months. Very, very long one. Very, very long 3 months. I can see something very terrible coming our way. I mean, when I talk of our way, the way of this struggle. And the world will still be silent. Because to them, we have not shed enough blood enough for them to intervene. If we do not do it, no one will do it for us. Show love to those children by making sure that more do not die. That does not mean you should not defend yourself. That means you should prove that the only reason you went to war was because you truly want peace. Because we have truly never been in a peaceful country. We have lived our entire life under fear. Fear of speaking out, fear of questioning the established way of doing things, fear of asking simple questions. That is how we have lived our lives. At times we think we have lived in peace. Oh, this is an oasis of peace. No, it has been an oasis of fear. And the moment that lead is taken away from that fear, you begin to see what is happening. The only reason we went to war is because we truly want a permanent positive peace for everybody. We did not go to war to kill people. We did not go to war because we are warring. We went to war because the other side said, if you do not arm yourself, we will kill you all. We went to war because the other side refused to listen. This war is a suicidal call for justice. This war is a war that would have been avoided had the other side accepted to listen to the plight of those who were being persecuted. This is the consequences when man begins to play God. When man replaces God. And when man thinks there is no life hereafter. We did not go to war for anything. We went to war for peace. No matter how you see it, no matter how you argue it, that is why we went to war. That is the same reason the Nkoto Wasizwe was created. To bring permanent positive peace to the people in South Africa. That is why the Front Liberation Mozambicaine fought so hard in Mozambique. That is why the Southwest Africa People's Organization fought so hard in Southwest Africa. That was the same reason that Zano and Zapo fought against Ian Smith and the whole cabal in Saudi Rhodesia. We went to war because we just want to live our lives with the best of our ability. Let us realize that by showing the highest respect of our fellow human being, by fighting courageously, but making sure that we can all come to the table and sue for a permanent positive peace. It will be good for them, La République du Cameroon. It will be good for us, Ambazonians. It will be good for everyone. Thank you very much. And may our forefathers continue to look kindly upon you. And may Jehovah Elohim, to those of us who are Christians, continue to be the Almighty God. And may the blessings from Allah be upon you. Inshallah.